What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode here at beautiful Webb's Water Gardens HQ. And we actually filmed this Q&A show here in the warehouse so we can get the vibe of all the equipment that we're going to be talking about. And this dude knows more about it than anybody else I know. This is Joe. He is the lead pond tech here at Webb's Online. Say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
He does spend most of his day actually answering these kind of questions, and we just thought it'd be an interesting practice to put them out online and let the people of YouTube comment. If you have any additional questions for a future episode, you can put that down in the comment section below, and we will get to it. But today, which is kind of funny because as we're filming this, it is in the middle of a heat wave.
100 degrees.
100 degrees today.
It's probably 90 degrees right where we're sitting.
I know. We're going to put some nice Instagram filters on us so we don't look like sweaty messes.
Yeah.
But this is industry-wise a time where we start to think about the next season, right? So here at Webb's, we're always thinking about the next season, and making sure that we have what you need. So a question that comes up a lot is how to properly winterize not just your pond, but the equipment itself. I think the most interesting and useful knowledge is what surrounds the UV part of your pond's cleaning system and maintenance system. So I'm just going to hand that off to Joe because you may not have this incorporated in your pond. I would highly suggest it. It just makes your life way easier. But there's a very specific way to maintain this equipment.
Yeah. So UVs, primarily you don't want to run them during the winter. Obviously, they're in place to eliminate, green water for the most part, those plankton blooms. But as temperatures decrease, those clarity issues decrease as well.
Yeah, it's hard for those creatures, which again, a lot of people don't think of it that way, but it's hard for those creatures to survive in those temperatures. I mean, think about it. Your fish are doing their best just to stay alive.
Yeah, you're not going to see those explosive summer plankton blooms in the winter.
Right.
So. And obviously, manufacturers aren't going to cover any type of damage that occurs during the winter if you left it outside. And these are mainly glass components.
Yeah,
glass
which causes
bulb,
a problem
glass
in any other situation or environment, regardless of what we're talking about. You don't want to leave any kind of fragile glass bulb in any circumstance outside. And your pond is no different. If I would argue, it's actually probably more susceptible to winter damage.
Yeah, for sure. So it's not a system you want to just unplug. We actually need to bring it inside. Some units you can actually gut, taking the power supply and the bulb and the sleeve, and there's caps you can actually continue to run water through the unit if you want to keep running your pump. But it's in your best interest to actually just disconnect it and just bring that unit inside completely. Obviously, it's going to leave a gap in your piping if you do that. So have a section of piping or fitting ready to go so you can actually reconnect if you want to continue to run your pump. But those UVs should be brought inside. And
the fitting that he's talking about, I mean, these are things that you don't want to change the bulbs out, but I mean, for the most part, a lot of the infrastructure outside of the bulb, you're going to be using the same stuff for a couple years. So this connection fitting, you can make that while you're setting up. Keep it in your garage, and then it'll just be there, and you're going to get a lot of years of usage out of that.
Or I just thought of, you could also have a bypass ready to go.
Yeah, it could be permanently in there.
Yeah, just remove, run the bypass, and you're good.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what if your UV clarifier is attached to your pump or part of your pump system?
That is interesting. You'd have to actually turn the pump off, bring that inside. Now, if it's attached to a pressure filter that's outside, you would want to disconnect that, drain it, and bring that filter inside.
And the reason he said drain it, what is inside, right? Inside's not the same for you and me. Do you have a shed? Do you have a garage? Are you throwing stuff in your basement that gets the heat?
Yeah.
The reason you want to drain this for one reason is if it gets into a circumstance where it actually freezes outside, that water inside's not going to be the best things for it. What's other reasons you would want to drain this?
Yeah, well, one, two, if you left it outside too, that tank is going to expand and crack.
Yeah.
But yeah, you really want to drain it, bring it inside. I mean, any bacteria that's growing in there, once it's off for a period of time, turns toxic. So you always want to flush those filters in the beginning of the season after shutting those things down.
Yeah, you do not want to reintroduce something that has been growing and living on its own like a little nightmare in your garage, and then put that into a place with healthy living organisms. All you're going to do is kind of shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, and shutting those filters down with UVs some may say I need my filter, but you really don't need filtration during the winter. Your fish are almost dormant. They're not feeding, they're not emitting waste. There's really not a big need for it, so it's not a huge deal as you may think.
I would say your number one thing that you need to worry about is really making sure, and we beat this, point to death for sure. You just really want to make sure that you don't let the surface of your water close up. You want to make sure there's oxygen in there. But in terms of filtration, there's really not a whole lot going on in there that's causing much of an issue.
No.
So is there anything else you want to touch on real quick about just winterizing?
We have a Q&A coming up for that.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for that. We don't need to dive into that just yet.
All right. Was that dive a send-off pond joke?
Oh, maybe.
All right. Nice. Until next time, take care and enjoy your pond.